Hello students, I am here with another video from the chapter of class 10th Science NCERT book. The name of the chapter is How Do Organisms Reproduce? Students, before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that we are doing the revision of this chapter. So in this revision part, we have to understand. So this is the revision of the chapter, and we are revising the previous year's questions which have been asked in the board examination. So we will be continuing this chapter again. So in this chapter, the first question is we'll discuss about some of the facts related with the reproduction in animals. Okay, so here the first question is list out the basic features of reproduction. The first question is list out the basic features of reproduction. Okay, so we have to study about the basic features of reproduction. What are the basic features? The basic features of reproduction are, first one is replication of DNA. First one is replication of DNA. Okay. Then second one is growth and differentiation of the cells, which cellular apparatuses which are present inside the cells. Okay. So it is the duplication of cellular machinery. Okay, then third one is that after duplicating the DNA, after duplicating the all other cell organelles which are present inside a cell, then the cell divides, cell division. These are some of the basic features of reproduction. Okay, whether it is asexual mode of reproduction or it is a sexual mode of reproduction, then what happens? These are the basic events which has to take place. That duplication of DNA has to take place, duplication of the other cellular apparatus must take place, and also the cell division must take place. Okay, so this is all about the features related to the sexual reproduction, or simply if you talk about asexual also, then it will work. Okay, then next is, we move on to the next question, that is, the next question is from the same chapter, and now we have to understand, name the organ. The question is, name the organ where sperms are produced, and name the hormone by which it is produced. And why do sperms have tail but ovum does not have? Okay, so we have the question, name the organ where sperms are produced. Name the hormone which helps in its production. Okay, then afterwards it is, why do sperms have tail? Why do sperms have tail and ovum does not? Okay, why do sperms have tail but ovum does not have tails? Fine, so we'll write down the answer for this question. I'll explain the answer for this question. Sperms are produced inside the organ of the male reproductive system, that is the testis. The testis secretes the hormone which is known as testosterone, and under the influence of this hormone, sperms are going to develop and it gets mature. Okay. After that, why do sperms have tail? Sperms have tail because it has to travel towards the female germ cell. Okay, so what happens? The material which is present, and why this ovum is not having a tail? Because it doesn't have to travel, it is non-motile, and it contains only the reserve food material, because of which after fertilization the new cell, the cell which is being developed, will also develop into a new form. Okay, under the influence of major hormones. So here it is, sperm are produced. Answer is are produced in testis. Okay, and it is testis work, or it is under the influence of, okay, it produces, it secretes, we can write down, because here the question is something else. Question says which hormone is help in the production of the sperms. So sperms are produced under the influence of testosterone hormone. So testis produces testosterone hormone. Called testosterone. Okay, and the next question is, why do sperms have tail? Sperms have tail because sperms have tail because they have to travel. They have to travel towards female gametes. Okay, towards female gamete. And why ovum does not have tail? Because it has reserve food material. It has reserve food material for the developing cells. Okay, so sperms are produced inside the organ called testis, and this works because the sperms are developed because of the influence of the hormone called testosterone. Okay, so this develops under the influence of the testosterone hormone, and then what happens? Ovum is not having the tail because it is cellular in its, it is oval in its shape. It is spherical in its shape. Okay, it is non-motile. It doesn't require any. It does not require any of the tail, because it doesn't have to travel through anywhere. Okay, it has only to get fertilized and then it develops into a new individual. Okay, so it has reserve food material. Whereas the sperms have tail because it has tail because it has to travel towards this female gamete. Okay, this is ovum and this is sperm. Fine. So here what happens? The sperm has to travel towards the ovum so that it gets fertilized. Okay, children. So this is under the influence. The sperm production is under the influence of the hormone called testosterone, And there are structural differences between the male gamete and the female gamete. Female gamete is non-motile, female gamete is spherical in its nature, whereas male gamete is motile. It is having the tail, it has to travel, and then it is not spherical in its shape, it is elongated in its shape. Okay, and then what happens, you can say that only one egg is produced at a time, whereas sperms are produced in a large quantity. So these are the few differences between the male and the female gamete as well, because sometimes what question comes is tell the structural differences between the sperm and the ovum. You can write down either it could be asked like what is the main difference, what are the main structural differences related with the male gamete and the female gamete with respect to the human beings, okay, or with respect to the animals. So you can give the answer accordingly. So this was the answer and the question. Now we will be discussing some more questions related to this topic. That is next question. Next question is, draw the diagram to explain the regeneration that takes place in the body of the parts of planaria, and when the body is cut into 3 pieces, name any other organism with similar process can be observed. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to draw the diagram of planaria and show the regeneration. Draw. Okay, and you have to explain this. So what you will do, you will draw the diagram and you are going to explain this fact, which is regeneration. Okay, so what are you going to do? Regeneration is the ability of fully differentiated organism to give rise to a new individual. Okay, so how the new individuals are being developed? New individuals are being developed when it has been broken into different pieces. Here it is given that 3 pieces में कट हो गया अगर प्लानेरिया का बॉडी, तो क्या होगा उससे कि अब उसके बाद कैसे डेवलप करेगा, ये कैसे डेवलप करेगा, क्योंकि रीजनरेशन होना है तो जो जितना लॉस्ट पार्ट होगा दैट वुड बी रीजनरेटेड. Okay, so there are some organisms, there are certain lower organisms where the regeneration is taking place. So here we have to concentrate only upon the planaria. Okay, तो planaria में क्या करना होगा, इधर ऐसा डायग्राम ड्रॉ करेंगे आप लोग. Cut into 3 portions. Now what happens? एक पोर्शन ये है और दूसरा उसका टेप. Okay, so it has been cut into 3 portions, 3 pieces. Now how they are going to develop? They will be regenerated. The lost part would be regenerated. Okay, so here the neck is being regenerated. तो neck जो होगा, neck portion में the planaria can be cut into any number of pieces. It grows complete organism. Regeneration is carried out by specialized cells which proliferate. It is going to divide and make a large number of cells. Undergoing the changes becomes various cell types of tissues. These changes takes place in organized sequences referred to as development. Okay, so इतना लॉस्ट पार्ट जो होगा वो डेवलप हो जाएगा. ओके, यहाँ पर माउथ है तो इट इज हैविंग द हेड पोर्शन और बाकी इट विल बी डेवलप्ड. न्यू प्लानेरिया वुड बी डेवलप्ड. ओके, सिमिलरली हियर आल्सो इट इज हैविंग दिस पार्ट वुड बी रीजनरेटेड और यहाँ पर ये पूरा रीजनरेट हो जाएगा. इधर दिस पोर्शन विल बी रीजनरेटेड. ओके, देन यहाँ रीजनरेशन हुआ एंड द थर्ड पार्ट वुड बी, इसमें क्या होगा, इसमें पूरा अपर पोर्शन रीजनरेट हो जाएगा. Okay, so they will be regenerated. This is completely regenerated. Got it? So in this manner, the planaria would be regenerated. The full complete planaria would be developed from the cut portion. You can write down the explanation regarding this, that parent animal in this planaria gets cut into 3 pieces accidentally, then it is going to develop into fully grown, regenerated planaria. Okay. Then next is what can be the answer for this question? More answers are to be written. Like you have to write down the regeneration and what is understood, what is the meaning of the word regeneration and how it is taking place in planaria. And you have to write down that जो भी रीजनरेशन हो रहा है और एनिमल्स कौन से हाइड्रा में रीजनरेशन हो सकता है कुछ एक्सटेंट तक, कुछ स्पॉन्जेस हैं जिनमें रीजनरेशन होता है. ओके, सो हियर व्हाट हैपेंस, रीजनरेशन इज द एबिलिटी ऑफ it is a development of the organisms from the parts of the body. Small cuts or broken parts of the individuals will grow and regenerate into a separate new individual. Okay, so the cut pieces of portions of old animal gets regenerated into fully grown animal. Got it? So this is the answer for the question, and you have to explain this. If it is for 3 marks, you have to draw the diagram with proper labelings, and then you can also shade this portion, or you can color this. You can draw this diagram with 2 different pens or pencils. You can understand कि यहाँ पर कौन सा अमीबा कौन सा प्लानेरिया कितना रीजनरेट हुआ है, कौन सा वाला पोर्शन रीजनरेटेड है, कौन सा वाला ओल्ड पोर्शन है. So you can write down. Okay. Then we move to the next question, and here the sequence of the events are taking place where duplication of DNA, then again some of the cells, they have specialized organs, they have specialized body tissues which can divide and proliferate. Okay, proliferate means that it is going to be increase in its number, they will multiply, so multiplication in the cells would take place. Okay, that is why what happens, they are able to regenerate properly. Got it? Then next is show the changes, state some changes which takes place in the uterus when implantation occurs, implantation of embryo occurs. Okay, state the changes that takes place in the uterus when implantation occurs. State the changes that takes place when takes place in the uterus when implantation has occurred, and if egg is not fertilized. Got it? So this you have to write down as the 2 parts answers are to be written, because this is for 3 marks question. For example, this could be written in the 2 parts, so 1.5 marks for each of the question, each of the part. Okay. In this, what you will do, you will write down if implantation occurs, what changes will take place. So the answer is when implantation occurs. Okay, when implantation occurs, then what happens in the uterine wall and what are the changes which is taking place in the uterus present in the females. Okay, if the fertilization occurs, then embryo gets implanted in the inner lining of the uterus and it starts dividing. First of all, the fertilized ovum gets implanted inside the inner lining of the uterus wall, and then what happens, it starts dividing. And once it starts dividing, then what happens, इसमें inner lining के वजह से it gets the attachment and then it starts developing. Okay, and once it is, then the uterus becomes richly supplied with the blood vessels, and it gets nourishment, and it gives nourishment to the developing embryo. Okay, it gives nourishment to the developing embryo. So here we are talking about that what are the changes. So first change which takes place is that when fertilization occurs, if the embryo gets implanted in the lining of uterus, or you can say inner lining of the uterine wall. Fine. Now if the changes are taking place, if the changes has to take place, what changes are to be there? The first change is that implantation occurs, and the second change is after implantation it gets attached. Second changes in the uterine wall takes place, that it becomes richly supplied. It becomes richly supplied with the blood vessel for nourishing the developing fetus. Okay, so these are the changes which has to take place when the implantation has occurred, or we can say this question could be asked: if fertilization occurs, then what happens, and if fertilization doesn't occur, then what would happen? So the first question says that if fertilization occurs, then what changes would take place in the uterine wall and in the other structure. So here what happens when implantation occurs, then after fertilization, once implantation occurs at the 8-cell stage, then what happens, the embryo starts developing, and for development it requires a particular attachment, so it gets attached in the inner lining of the uterus. Okay, it gets attached in the inner lining of the uterus, and then after that what happens, once it is attached to the inner lining, then it has to get some nourishment. It gets nourishment because of the richly supplied blood vessels, which takes place only when implantation has to occur. Otherwise, there is no such blood vessels are present inside the uterus. Not very much. There are blood vessels, but they are extensively supplied with the blood vessels. It is going to take place once the implantation has occurred. Okay. Then what happens? What are the next factors? ये 2-3 चीजें यहाँ पर changes यहाँ पर देखने हैं. Okay, then after that what happens if fertilization doesn't occurs? So next part of this question is if fertilization does not occur. Then after that what would happen? If fertilization doesn't occur, then the inner lining of the uterus breaks and it comes out. Okay, so then what happens if the inner lining of the uterus breaks and comes out with blood and mucus from So now what happens, the next step is, if fertilization doesn't occur, then what happens, then the uterus wall breaks and it is going to be released from the female's body with the help of, together with what? The mucus and the blood stains. Okay, so this is about the changes which are taking place, and this was about the questions which we have to discuss. Now I move on to the next question, that is one differentiation question is there. If you have to differentiate between what you have to differentiate. You have to differentiate in this question. Then the question is differentiate between external and internal fertilization. And also explain what is fertilization. Okay? So what we will write, we will explain this first, and then what is the site of fertilization in humans. Explain what is fertilization and what is the site of fertilization in humans. Okay? Now what is fertilization? Fertilization, it is a process of fusion of male and female gamete Okay, this is known as fertilization. It is a process of, it is defined as the fusion of male gamete, that is, in case of human beings, if you have to write, we will specially define the male gamete and the female gamete. Here what we will say, we will write down as it is a process of fusion of the male gamete, that is sperms, it is getting fused with the female gamete, that is ovum, inside the female's body to produce a zygote. Okay, to produce a zygote is known as fertilization. Okay. Now fertilization is of two types. It is of two types. What are these two types? The two types of fertilization are the internal fertilization and the external. Okay. अब इसमें आप क्या लिख सकते हैं, आपको डिफरेंशिएट करना है यहाँ पर कि कहाँ, व्हाट इज द साइट ऑफ फर्टिलाइजेशन इन ह्यूमंस, इट इज ओविडक्ट. Oviduct are the site of fertilization. Okay, oviduct in the female's body, or the fallopian tube, you can say fallopian tube, or the oviducts are the, this is fallopian tube. Okay, so I have told you the answer for this last part. And what are the differences between internal fertilization and external fertilization? So children, the difference between internal fertilization is that the fusion of the male and female gamete will take place inside the female's body. It takes place inside. Takes place inside the female body. ठीक है. और नेक्स्ट क्या लिखोगे, एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन टेक्स प्लेस एक्सटर्नली. इट टेक्स प्लेस outside the female उसके बाद नेक्स्ट हम देखते हैं कि और क्या डिफरेंसेस होता है एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन और इंटरनल फर्टिलाइजेशन में. External fertilization में what happens, the male and the female gametes are released externally. Okay, it is released externally. For example, if it is taking place in the frogs or in the fish, then what happens, the male gamete is also present in the water as well as the female gamete is also present in the water. Okay, then what happens, the fertilization will take place outside the body of the female, then this is known as external fertilization. Okay, development of the zygote also takes place outside the body of the female in this external fertilization, whereas in internal fertilization what happens, the gamete also is formed inside, the gamete also is formed outside and zygote also is developed. यहाँ पर next difference आप क्या लिख सकते हैं, next difference में the gametes are produced or released, you can say, inside the body. Okay, the next is it takes place outside. Okay, it releases outside. Sperms will be released and ovum will be released outside the body of the either in the water. Okay, then after that last is zygote development also takes place inside and zygote developments will take place outside the body of the female. So this was about the question related to this part, and then you can write down some examples. Internal fertilization will take place in the animals, in the bigger animals, like they are taking place in the human beings, then animals like cow, okay, the animals like monkeys, okay, we can write down several animals for internal fertilization. Similarly, for the external fertilization, it takes place inside the small animals like such as frogs, birds, some of the birds are also there, okay. Then after that fish is there where the external fertilization is taking place. Got it? So this is the question and answer related to this topic, children. I'll be meeting you all in the next class.